This conference will now be recorded.
Morning, Tony.
Good morning.
We're getting started here pretty soon.
Okay. I am, Bruce, just so you're aware, I'm driving, so I won't be able to watch a screen.
Okay. All right. Call a meeting in order. Would everyone please join me in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone with us and online. First order of business would be to approve the agenda. Has there been some changes, Bruce?
Chairman, I think some of the agendas reflect all the changes, but those that may not, just to be clear, on page 2, plat number 202475 has been pulled. And then looking at page 3, there are 3 plats that have been pulled, 2024 80, 81, and 82. And that is all no change.
Motion to approve as amended.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the amended agenda. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Do we have any conflicts? Okay, seeing none. Approval of the regular meeting minutes on September 24th.
So move approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. How about the bills? I've had my questions answered.
I'm good. Yes. Motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the bills. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Auditors account with the treasurer.
And this is through September 30th, 2024. Total amount of deposits in the banks is $30,152,969.23. Including in that total is the Collier's CD for $5,257,173.07. The bank balance of $19,739,032.70. U.S. bank balance is $4,096,028.94. Money market is $1,060,734.52. Total amount of actual cash is $1,350. Amount of checks and drafts in the treasurer's possession not exceeding 3 days is $212,438.57. Cash is $7,150.03. Petty cash $2,725 for a total of $30,376,632.83.
We approve auditors account with the treasurer.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the auditors account with the treasurer. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Someone online needs to mute their microphone.
There, I said, I just want that parking spot. He doesn't know this is a one way.
Deb, mute your mic.
He said, yes.
It's on the phone.
Around. But he did say,
Can we kick her?
Wish Bruce a
I just got word just now. And there's
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Somebody online, your microphone is on?
Deb, and she's on the phone. Is there a way to kick her until she? No,
Right,
it's your way.
Bruce on his way over there.
There.
She's muted.
Okay, personnel, Brenda.
I have 2 step raises in the auditor's office. One is for Crystal Stalkin, going to a county employee 3, grade 3, base pay at $25.41, effective 10/20/24. And then Kimberly Atkins, going to a county employee 3, grade 2, base pay at $24.92, also effective on 10/20. Yes.
I'll move to approve the step raises for Crystal Falcon and Kimberly Akins.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the step raises. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then I have 4 step raises in the sheriff's office. Crystal Chafin, correction officer 2, grade 2, base pay of $24.84, a part-time fill-in position effective 10/6. Daniel McNee, correction officer 1, grade 3, base pay of $23.86, full-time permanent employee, also effective 10/6. Ashley Job, correction officer 1, grade 3, base pay of $23.86, is a full-time permanent position, also effective on 10/6/24. And Mackenzie Gerald, dispatcher 1, grade 2, base pay of $23.39, part-time fill-in employee effective 10/6 as well.
Did the two people that were out of county, was that were they both in the same town?
I think it says on the, I think there was only
Sturgis-
one,
Sturgis and
Blackhawk and Sturgis, yep. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the step raises. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is that it, Brenda?
Say again,
Any travel requests?
I have none, thank you, sorry.
Okay, proposed county commission meeting schedules. Anyone have any issues with what's been printed up for us for next year?
Mr. Chairman, not requesting that you approve it today, but just to get it out there a little bit early for your consideration.
All right, everyone can think on it then.
I do have conflicts with the January 7th and the June 10th, or July 8th, I should say. January 7th is statutorily required. I don't think, I couldn't see that it was on a Tuesday.
I don't know that it's required, but most counties do kind of treat it to be required. And also because you're gonna have elected officials to get sworn in as well. And so that's kind of why it's treated as being mandatory, makes sense?
You won't be able to make that, Marie?
Or not, I will be traveling to DC that day. I would prefer us doing it the day sooner, on a Monday.
You don't have to decide today.
All right, we'll think on
So
those.
January 6th.
Yes. That would work for me. And then the July 8th too, I would like us to figure out what we can do about that.
Emergency management quarterly report. Barb?
You did. It's just our end of the year, fourth quarter report. Same thing as it's been, no changes in this year's LEMPG. Going forward, now the LEMPG does have the education requirement change.
You're looking for authorization of the chairman sign?
Yes, please.
Need a motion?
I move to authorize the chairman to sign the report.
Second.
Okay, motion is second for approval of the chairman's signature. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Paul, would you please come forward?
Yeah, that's you this time.
This, we're fortunate to have a fantastic emergency manager in our community. Paul always steps up and helps all the departments in their day and night issues. He's always been there. He does a fantastic job. And he's been named the emergency manager of the year, 2024.
Give him a kiss.
No, we're not going that far. We don't do hugs.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Paul, thank you.
Alrighty. I think we're down to Sheriff Dean.
Mr. Chairman, I'd ask our Chief Deputy Pat Johnson to deal with the bid
We have
opening.
5 more minutes. We have 5 more minutes.
Bid openings?
The bid
Bid
opening is at
No, the
8:15.
bid opening's at 8:25.
8:15.
So I'll wait. I'll have him wait.
Oh, yeah, for the transport van, I'm sorry.
Get back on.
Back on.
We have to wait.
Yeah, we have to wait.
Not gonna wait.
I was looking at a public hearing.
Yeah, there's a couple things.
Brian, you can visit with us for 5 minutes.
We'll do it. How about I just request the executive session now and think we can get that done in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do that
Approval.
pursuant to SDCL
Second.
125 to subsection 3.
8:09.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of executive session. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Tony, I'll give you a call if I need to, otherwise I'm gonna have to mute everybody. And we'll be back, turn the microphone back on with the executive session.
I'm sorry, Bruce, did you address me?
And Tony, we're gonna go into executive session. I'll have to give you a call if we need you. There are other people are online, so I don't have to wait to single
No.
you out for
I'm,
conversation, so.
yep, very
I
good.
don't-
Thanks, Bruce.
Yep.
All right, bye.
Then we'll continue.
All right, very good.
All right.
Come out.
Come on.
8:23.
The microphone's on,
Executive session.
camera's
Come
on.
out.
You don't need a motion.
All right, we'll just come
We're live.
live.
This is a tiny place that we're good. Yeah, back on line.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for bearing with us. We come out of executive session without any decisions. And it is the time and place for a bid opening for one transport van for the sheriff's office. How many did you get?
It's like 2. So this one's from Junix and Spearfish. Looks like total for the transport van would be 54,000. Just extra.
Even?
And then, yeah, they would put the 5,400 for the bid bond, 10%.
And so this one's from White's Canyon Ford and Spearfish. Their total number, 58,715.
It's on there.
Yep.
Okay, would you like some time to review those before we?
Yes, please.
All right, we'll expect you back later in the meeting. Thank you. Sheriff, this time would you like Mr. Conway to come visit with us?
Yes, sir.
Come on up, sir.
Sure. The public hearing.
What would you like?
You'll have the.
Public hearing too.
You wanna get that out of the way, Brenda?
Really quick.
All right, if you just wanna, just sit there.
Sure.
We're gonna we have a public hearing that's
Okay.
scheduled for right now. This is the time and place for it. Resolution 2024-36, petition vacating a portion of the section line. Brenda, would you?
Mr. Chairman, if I may?
Yes.
Before you, you've seen part of this before, is a petition to vacate a right of way. And in this case, it's Dolphin Road, which I don't think has ever been actually put in. It lies, as you can see, between One Horse Road and between Yellow Creek Road. If you look at the petition, I think all the adjacent landowners have signed the petition except for the landowner lying directly to the north, which is Maitland Partners. And we talked to Gene Pesca on behalf of Maitland Partners yesterday. He has had no objection. He has been out on the property with surveyor Lauren Brown, so I don't know of any objection. Of course, it is a public hearing.
Okay, at this time,
Oh, Nathan is here. I'm sorry.
we'll open it up to the public for those online or present. This is the time and place if you'd like to speak for or against this. And if so, please stand, state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone that would like to speak at this time?
My name is Nathan Straswell. I circulated the petition that would.
What's your address, sir?
21293 Yellow Creek Road.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm obviously in favor of it. I spoke with my neighbors and I don't believe anyone has an issue with it.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Online or in the audience? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and offer to the board for their consideration.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I look at this, reviewed it. There's roads all the way around. I don't see that it would ever cause any hardship. It's simply a road that was never put in between landowners that already have access off of other points. So I would make a motion to approve the vacation. Resolution 24-36.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, thank you for your patience, Mr. Conley. You have the floor.
The commissioners all have a copy of your letter.
Okay, yeah, so I thought it'd be appropriate to come in and kind of talk about the status of the Lawrence County Public Safety Services Center. Obviously, I'm the project manager for RCS Construction, GC on the project. We've requested additional days for some of the added work that was in the previously approved change order number 4 for just a various list of cost proposals that would put us to a November 18th contractual completion date. But unfortunately, even with that contractual completion date, we're still going to go beyond that. We've got a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, things are not coming together as fast as I'd hoped. I don't want to discount the efforts of all the tradesmen that are on site. They're all working very hard. They all know that we need to get this thing done, but we're kind of getting to the end here, and I can see that we're not going to be able to get this handed over so that you can actually be utilizing it in its full capacity by then. So our goals at this point are to get the temporary occupancy for the dispatch area by manned in there operating by October 28th. That is the goal that we've set in the short term. We need to work with the design team. They need to sign off because obviously if we're going to have people in there operating this facility, we need to have life safety aspects 100% and confidence in those that things won't go down because obviously if it's a 911 dispatch, we cannot have problems in there. So right now we've got checklists put in place to achieve that goal. We're moving forward. Everyone knows we need to hit that. We want to start kind of intermittently doing punch out of certain areas basically doing a review with the owner's reps, the design team, and start punching out those areas so that we can get those things ready. Where we're struggling is in the detention side. It's just that type of work is just taking a lot more effort than I'd envisioned, to be honest. And our superintendent and just things coming together. You got just the process of this step has to be done before this one. And it's just, it takes a lot of effort in there. And what I don't want to do is rush it and hand over a facility that is not going to operate properly. So where my hesitation is the testing and commissioning of the security systems on this. It's very intricate, and it's going to take a lot of effort by our detention contractor. And so we're still pushing. We're going to go into December for sure, and we want to be able to review those things. But I need confidence from my security contractor that we're going to be able to have a functioning facility, because that's the last thing we want, is to turn this thing over too soon and just have a litany of problems that just creates a problem for everybody. So it's unfortunate. I apologize. We're working really hard. I'm pushing. I think if you went up there and got the sense from the workers on site that they know it's crunch time, and so we're pushing hard. So I just want to apologize. I know you guys are anxious to get this facility operational, but I also don't want to rush it and have problems. So,
Bob, is it true that you probably, maybe by the next commission meeting, present change order number 5, which would reflect that November 18th date, and it may include another date?
Yeah, because there's been a handful of other, little cost proposals that have been priced. Some have been approved, some have been rejected, and we can update it in full at that time.
You're not asking the commission to take any action at this point?
No, I just wanted to more give an update. You want to hear it from us. It's our responsibility. We're the ones at the helm here, so I just wanted you guys to hear it from me on kind of the status, and we just want to keep pushing and give you guys a good quality building when we're done. So
Thank you so much for coming in and giving us a brief on it. Appreciate that. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Conley? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I've got, unless Mr. Alka tells me something else. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Bay here.
Greg. We lost camera. The camera went off.
Your turn, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't know.
That was a scary view, wasn't it? Sorry, folks. Very nice.
Okay.
Really gonna give you the look now. I don't want to touch it. I'm not quite sure what camera it is.
You have the floor, sir.
Well,
Well, I have
camera went away.
4 approach permits up on the Deer Mountain development here. Gerard Keating is requesting permission to construct 4 approaches off the Cherry Peak Summit Road. These are all on the west side of the road. They're all in the road plan that was approved, I think, by the Planning and Zoning Board. Of the 4 approaches, 2 of them are going to require culverts. I don't want to, I've given them the minimum culvert size, but I also recommended that they go to their engineer and have a hydraulic analysis done, because I don't feel that, I'm not worried about the county roads, the culverts. There's no drainage issues that's going to hurt our roads, but I don't want to be involved in anything that has anything to do with the development roads. I believe that they're going to need more than the minimum size. So as one of the conditions of the permit, I have put in there that I believe that they should have a hydraulic analysis done for their own safety.
Were they agreeable to that?
They were agreeable to that, for sure, yes. Good. The other one that was a concern to me was that Tamarack Place. They have in their plans, they're moving Tamarack Place, which is actually a benefit to the county. The Tamarack Place is not a very well-built approach off of the Terry Summit Road. This would move that 300 feet south. It increases the sight distance a great deal. It also puts that new approach will be perpendicular to the road instead of skewed at a 45-degree angle. The only concern I really have with that is I don't want that easement left in place. I've left that as a condition of that permit to have the property owners remove that easement from any public records. And they also agreed to that. So with all of those in place, I don't have any issues with any of these permits. I would recommend approval of all four.
Call the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, call the recommendation, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next is our friends at Celerity Internet. They're wanting some more permits for the construction of some fiber optic lines on the north side of the interstate. I did add a condition of the permit because of our last incidents with them that no tracked equipment would be allowed on any county road. I have also left in all of the other existing conditions of the permits that we've done in the past. So,
Do they anticipate to get the homestake area done before snowfall?
they do. I've been out there a couple of times and I'm not.
It's a mess.
It is a mess. It seems like they could have a few more people on job site for sure. They're moving around a lot. They tear up one area and then they move on to another. I think they've got one crew does the trenching and then the next crew comes in and actually installs the utilities. So I have been in contact with them and I told them that it's real important that they get those road ditches back in shape before the snow flies. So
Yeah, they've got, I see the sign people have put some signs in right along where they pre-plowed some of those ditches and right next to their ditch, so I don't know how they're gonna get the actual pipe plowed in with those signs there, so it could be fun.
well, I mean, they're under construction for sure. I don't know what their actual plan date is for completion, but they do say they're gonna have it done before we're plowing snow out there. So these particular permits here are on the opposite side of the road. They got McNitty Road, Chicken Creek, Upper Redwater, 104th and Mossing Lanes. They've also supplied us with if we want to implement a bond, we have their estimated cost of $210,000. We haven't implemented a bond yet. I'm all right with it so far. I'm more concerned with them being done with the work they have underway. This is all, I think these permits are, if they get time, they're gonna try to get some of the plowing done this year. I don't know if they're gonna even get to these this year or not.
Did you have the open trenching on the last?
I did.
Because they've got an open trench right going up around.
I seen
corner
that.
That's been there a long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they only work 4 days a week. They're not too concerned about it.
Well, I guess it's wait and see, huh?
You said there's currently an open trench?
There is, yes.
Do we need to table this until we know that they come into compliance with the last one that we approved?
That would certainly be an option.
I move that we table this until the next meeting to see if they come into compliance with the previous easement agreements.
Continue.
There you go.
I can second that. Just another question for Mr. Bay. Have they compensated the county for the damage they did previously?
Not yet. I have not sent them a bill, nor have we done the work. We're waiting for them to finish before we go in and do our work.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue this. No action on this today. Any further discussion?
They did bring in a rubber tire track and they got a big cap with a lot of road tires on behind it to smooth things out.
Okay. All right, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We were able to obtain the last easement on the Christensen Drive Bridge. I have that signed by the Emmys. We did make an agreement with them in the amount of $67.50 for compensation for the temporary permit. We'll also be responsible for any of the fencing work and then the reestablishment of vegetation when the work is done.
John, is this for Kellogg's?
This is for the Donald E. Kellogg property. The executor is Scott Kellogg, his son. And he's the one that signed this agreement.
Do we need to do any formal action on that?
Yes.
We'll need
Motion to allow
your
chairman to sign.
signature.
Most of them sign some.
Second. Second.
Motion second to allow the chairman to sign. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
And with that being signed, I have the right-of-way certificate and also the utility certificate that also need to be signed on the same bridge. All of the, for the right-of-way, all of the right-of-ways have been now acquired. So this is we need this certificate signed to send to the state to continue on with this. And then we also have contacted all of the utilities in the area, Black Hills Energy, Montana Dakota Utilities, the city of Spearfish, and CenturyLink Lumen. So they'll have to, work in moving the utilities in that area.
You recommend we sign it?
Yes, sir.
I'll move that we do sign it.
Oh, second.
Okay, then motion is second for the chairman's signature. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the next thing I have would be our annual snow agreement with Pennington County. We do this every year. It is a little different this year. Pennington County recently paved a section of the Rochford Road. They've done some South Rochford and some work on the Rochford Road, and they'd rather be in charge of plowing that. So instead of us plowing that, we're just gonna be plowing from the county line into the town of Rochford, and in return, they'll plow our section of Rochford all the way to 385. So I do have the agreement signed by Pennington County Commissioners here. So if we could sign that, that'd be great.
Recommendation,
I'd like to go forward with
motion
it.
to follow recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion is second to follow recommendation. Further discussion?
It seemed they were plowing a significantly longer portion of it.
Yeah, we used to plow more than they did, so we're just getting even.
All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And we are kind of coming to the conclusion of our sign project. And I know we talked about this when this thing started a couple of years ago. We've been storing all of the signs. We've sold the sign posts for recyclables. We also have some sign posts on our auction right now. But we do have all of the signs, and we're getting a lot of signs. So I know it was brought up at the last one, a few years ago, we brought it up at the meeting about what we would do with the old signs. And a lot of things were brought up about donations to nonprofits and things like that. In the past, we've always just auctioned them at a sale or sold them for recyclables. So I guess what I'm looking for from you guys is what you want to do with all these signs.
Well, they usually sell, don't they? I mean, either to salvage people or someone that think they might have.
If we declare them recyclable, we can take them right to a salvage facility and sell them ourselves. I know it was brought up at one point that maybe there would be a nonprofit that would be interested in selling them for repurposed decorations and things like that. I don't know who that would be or how we'd go about coming up with that nonprofit. So
Well, you certainly wouldn't want them showing up in areas that, I think recycling would be the best.
I don't see a problem with resale, but I don't understand what your problem is, but I mean, what your concern would be.
Well,
I do with my house have one sign that I bought from the 911 guy back when it was brand new.
they might be new and in good shape, but they've got a severe bend in the middle because of the way they're taking them out and some of them, I don't know. if it's
You're
all-
talking about the upright posts.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Sign
not only
posts.
those, but the actual signs that say Homestake Road or say.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to speak up, but the sign on Kirk and Yellow Creek is backwards. It's got fixed yet, but they put it in and it's saying Kirk Road is going up Yellow Creek.
Oh, okay.
That just happened last week.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's kind of important.
Well, yeah.
We have a list of signs that are installed incorrectly. We'll be handling that as they come. They're not quite done. We're waiting for that project to be done to actually address that problem.
Are we gonna have an actual county auction?
We're having our county auction right now. As a matter of fact, all of the equipment we surplused is on Purple Wave. It closes on the 22nd.
Okay.
Things are, just got started. There are a couple of pieces of equipment are already doing pretty well. But it would be too late to add these to that auction, but going like to sell them through Purple Wave, we could do it anytime. We could sell them at one of their next auctions. They have an auction every day, so.
Okay, what's the board's
Second drawer. Second.
desire on this?
If you want some more time to think about it, you certainly can. We would have time to make a decision, but.
I've seen plenty of road signs being for sale in various shops and other industries, so I don't see a problem with them on the auction, actually.
I imagine there's quite a pile of them. I don't know how.
That's a motion.
Exactly.
Yes,
To
thank you.
To surplus the road signs.
Just surplus the
and
road signs and put them on
Public
auction.
auction,
I'll second that.
And if they don't sell, can we recycle them?
yes.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to allow them to go on public auction and declare them surplus at this time. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
So you made the motion.
Mr. Chair, just one question for Mr. Bay there. Who decided on where to put those signs along the gravel roads? Because we have significantly more directional signs and delimiter posts that I've been getting a lot of questions about.
Bros Engineering was the design engineer, and they are also the construction engineer on the gravel road portion. On the asphalt roads, which was already completed, Bros Engineering was the design engineer, and KLJ was the construction engineer. Ham Construction is the contractor that's installing the signs. And I think but the location and the number of signs was implemented by Bros Engineering. So, as far as the number of signs, I mean, it's right out of the, I guess it'll be right out of the AASHTO manual of what that's part of the signing project, is to bring our county up to standard with the new signing laws that are in place.
Okay. Anything further, sir?
We had our surplus items that we surplus back in May, and we did make a mistake, which Mr. Alka brought to our attention when we took titles down to surplus. We had the wrong unit number for one of our mowers, so we ultimately had the wrong serial number. I don't know if a motion is necessary, but it was corrected at the sale. It is online right now on the Purple Wave being sold under the correct serial number, but we did surplus it with the incorrect serial number, so.
Okay. I'll make a motion to amend that, since I did the original one, and then Rick would have to be the second.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion is second to correct the VIN number. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Those items are currently on their website, purplewave.com. You can get on there and kind of keep an eye on it. The bid ends on the 22nd of this month. A couple of our items are doing pretty well already. We have our old loaders at $5,200 and our mowing tractors at $5,000 already. So that's a pretty good sign for this early in an online auction, I think. So we'll see how it goes. We have a $10 bid on our bridge. If anybody wants a bridge, man, it's a good deal.
5%.
Yeah. We'll help load it. Trying to get it where you
All
want.
you have, sir?
That's all I have. If you don't have anything for me, I
There's a
do
couple
believe
of
there's
spearfish
We've got
plots.
spearfish plants.
spearfish plats.
Well, yeah, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I had this
Well-
one, is this the one you have? Bender?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's the first one.
There.
Doesn't matter.
May I ask my question on?
Yes.
That 1 foot by 885 foot no access strip, was that reviewed with you? And is there any real need for it?
I don't think I have, no, I don't know what.
That's something new. It's the access, you see on the left hand on
I
St.
do.
Hans Road. There's a 1 foot by 800 and some foot.
Oh, it's so they
Yeah.
can't cross and put a driveway in.
I understand that, but they also have to come to the county for other approaches as well.
Yeah.
So in order to change or get an approach in there, they would have to go back in and replat that because of this 1 foot strip. Is that not correct? And I think it's undue expense upon the owners and unnecessary because they got to go through the process to get an approach anyway.
I can speak to that just a bit too. So
Could
this.
you give us your name and address?
Yes, of course. My name is Jamia Ecker. I live at 701 Upper Addy Street in Lead and work for the city of Spearfish. I'm the assistant planning director. The reason that that was proposed is because there's an existing access on tract D about halfway down there. The access here is off of St. Ange Road. County has jurisdiction over this section of St. Ange, which is why we're here today, because ultimately John will have to sign as the road authority. And the concern when this plat was originally proposed is that the access spacing would be too close for this type of road. And so our engineering department recommended that they place that no access easement so that they can control the access at the southern portion there through that private road and utility easement. And then if in the future this were to further subdivide and develop, at that time they could vacate that no access easement and propose another access point. That's where that came from.
I guess that's what I was told, that there would be no other accesses to this property other than what was existing.
And the city has control on any planning and any future planning on it anyway. So I just think it's unnecessary.
Okay.
Well, I will make the motion to have the highway superintendent sign this plan. I will also want to add to that the county will have no authority over the additional right-of-way that they have required on this plat over and above the 33 feet that the county normally controls. So with that, I guess I'm suggesting that remainder is the city of Spearfish's responsibility and not the county's.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Everyone understands the motion. Go ahead.
Just to clarify, so the remainder is.
The county has
north of
60.
That line?
No, it'd be to well, if you look at the north-south road, the St. Ange Road, there's 50 foot dedicated right away.
Yep.
We have 33 feet of it. The city wants another 17.
Okay.
So nowhere in the ordinance or county and state statute does it say that the county would necessarily need any more than its 66 total.
Then it's 33, okay.
Yeah, and they've done this in other areas around the city, and it's perfect sense for the future, but the county is not involved in that. So when they're requiring it, and the next one actually is a dedicated piece that they're gonna have to get a quick claim to go to the city. Or try to have the county watch it, and that's won't be ours to own. Or I would suggest it shouldn't be ours to own.
Okay. We do have a motion and a second for approval with those conditions. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That was the second one.
This next one is Bender subdivision.
And with that, I'll make a motion to approve this one unless there's something else. But again, the county will have the underlying 33-foot right of way on that particular piece of property, and I imagine they're gonna have to have a deed for that dedicated public piece to the city of Spearfish. Unless somebody has a different idea. I struggled with this. Commissioner Dybert, when he was on, struggled with this. It's property that is being acquired outside of the right of way, required to be taken by the city, and somebody has to oversee it and own it.
But
And so
approved without
unless,
comment.
I'm sorry?
But if approved without comment, the county's responsible.
I think they would infer that the county has it. We are not the ones doing the plating, so I don't know how we could.
I know.
This one, they are requesting another access to this new lot.
Mm-hmm. Do you see a problem with the access?
I went out and looked at it and I do not see another problem with it. It's 600 feet from the existing access. I did ask for a easement from the existing access to get to this property, and the property owner doesn't want to do it. And then after going out and looking at it, it would be quite a job to build an access from the existing. There is a ravine in between, so.
So do you see, I should have, I apologize that I didn't ask what your opinion was on.
No, that's fine.
Before I made the motion.
But I don't have a problem with where this access would be. There's an access across the road to the property across the road that would line up with that. So.
Well, that was my motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Taking the motion in a second, further discussion. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is that it for highway management, Bruce?
I believe so.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Does anyone need a break?
I would like one, Bruce.
Okay, we'll get to that break.
We'll turn the recording off for those listening online. We'll be resumed shortly. Okay, get the recordings back on.
Don't hold that against me.
No comment.
Trying to get you free through some attractions. I think there were two bids, the low bid, I think, did not meet specifications. It was a two-wheel drive instead of a four-wheel drive. So then the second bid obviously was higher, and Chief Deputy Johnson will explain that to you.
Okay, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, so going through this, the Ford, that was more, it was 58,715. That is all-wheel drive, like the spec said. The Junix, the Dodge, is just a front-wheel drive only, so it doesn't meet what we probably need around here, but a little bit less. Checking with Sheriff Dean, it does meet what he budgeted for this vehicle. So I would suggest going with the Ford.
Okay, Bruce.
Chairman, so I think you have to reject the low bid because it does not conform with the bidding specifications. And then there's a recommendation that you accept the only other bid. It does meet the bid bond requirements, otherwise meet your specifications, and would waive any other irregularities.
That was my motion.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion we're voting on is to accept the higher bid because it does meet the specs. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now we're ready, Amber.
Okay.
I will assume we're on layout 124-73. David and Kathy Winter.
I don't know if anybody's really gonna do this. Got going here.
Was this closer, it can be annexed into the city, Amber?
No.
No.
So this one is Majestic Estates, which is an existing subdivision. All they're trying to do is break out 5A from 5B. So it was one of the lots that were in Majestic Estates.
What is the purpose of a little chunk of ground on the north side of 5A? It has a bizarre little flag law look to it that doesn't make any sense to me.
This here,
Yes,
that's not being included, it's just.
I know it's
5B.
not, but
Probably, they could do an additional lot, they could sell it, I don't know.
with that size acreage, they won't be able to do another lot.
Staying as part of 5B, so I guess I've never really.
It is a layout plat. I would just
Yeah.
suggest they figure out what that's for. I don't know if it's maybe signage for the subdivision, whatever the point is, it's gonna be a no-build lot when they're done, because it won't meet conditions. I mean, it might technically, but I don't know that I would. There'd be some problems.
And it appears Dave has, our lead supervisor has been on scene and looked the property over and obviously told them they still have time for a fall application, which would help.
Do we actually take action on layout?
Usually you do, it basically so we can let them know if there's any concerns.
Does anyone have any concerns?
My concern is that area to the north of 5A.
Small lot, yep.
So, where do you go from there?
Just need a motion
We need a motion and then we just say that.
to approve
concern.
with the condition of that area, 5A, that small lot.
Or would you like a further explanation, Brandon?
I'm not gonna vote for it. I just don't like the way that's laid out, but they can certainly approve it. The layout as it is, that's, Up to the board, the rest of the board. So I'll move to approve the layout.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the layout. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Next one, Amber.
The next one is, you guys have seen this one before, this is the final plat for lots 1 through 6 off of Crook Mountain Road. It matches the original preliminary that you approved. As part of that preliminary, you had made comment that you would not be, approving any of the access points onto it, because Crook Mountain Road, we don't have access to the Forest Service Road. That's really what your
So we
comment
approved
was.
this a long time ago.
It was like, well, it's right at 2 years, because they have the preliminary plat's good for 2 years. And then I know Brad Limbo, I don't see him here, Brad had come to planning and zoning and had clarified that they had been in touch with the Forest Service. And basically the Forest Service just said, well, we don't really tell you, we don't give an access permit, but they are gonna wanna make sure that, like, if they change anything, that the grading and the drainage of that road doesn't get affected. So they'll still have to go through Forest Service to, do the grading and drainage. I don't think that was the specific words he used, but it's something to do with that.
Do you mean to do this? Is the fire plan done?
No.
Can we approve this without a fire plan or
I think
there's a fire plan letter?
print this for you. So we didn't have a change. Remember, the meeting was just on Thursday, so you guys didn't get the pullover of the minutes, but basically, sorry, this one. Planning and zoning did a recommendation, and it stated that Limbo was there. Motion to approve the final plat contingent upon the fire mitigation completion. And it sounds like they're kind of done, but we're just kind of waiting on the letter. We didn't have the letter part of it.
Okay. I'll
So
make a
that's what they
motion
did
to
as a
follow planning and zoning's recommendation.
It's right there.
And essentially you hold the plat until it's
Yep, they
contingent
have to
on
just
the
get us the
completion
letter.
fire plan.
Second.
Okay, we move to the second, further discussion. Commissioner Jennings.
I had some concerns about this when we did the preliminary about the access, and I still have those same concerns. Because the county doesn't control the access on that Forest Service road, we'd asked them to do a common approach, which I don't think that they're necessarily doing. The Forest Service is concerned about drainage along the road. They're not concerned about access or safety. And I think, so it's difficult for us because we don't control the road, but I think we do have a responsibility to ensure that it's a safe area. And by approving this plat, I think that has the potential of creating an unsafe area if the Forest Service isn't looking at safety issues when they for approaches. So I'm going to have to vote no on this because I think that could create an unsafe situation with too many approaches off that road in a short distance.
Commissioner Sleep.
Why don't you have them do the fire plan and that before they present this, rather than say, well, it's well accepted, but you have to do a fire plan?
You guys have done plats like this a number of times. You've done contingencies like this. It's
I know
consistent
I
with
have,
what
but
we've done.
why do we do it?
That's up to you guys.
Well,
I don't know.
They can't file the final plat with the wording that we're putting in there until it is finished. So.
Who was the second?
I don't think anybody.
Nobody's seconding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I second, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on this before we call it for a vote? All right, we'll do a roll call. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Brenda?
Flanagan.
Aye.
Tisdale.
Aye.
Sleep.
No.
Jennings.
No.
Ewing.
Why did I do that? Well, I do have some concerns as well. I'm gonna be a no.
So what do you want me to tell them?
Get the fire plan done.
I don't think the fire plan
No,
is the
that's
reason.
That's not the issue.
Well, that may be why Richard voted no, and then that would be 3 yeses. So that's one area.
Yeah.
I have the same concerns Commissioner Jennings does on this, that
I don't see where we have authority to require anything on a Forest Service road. We have authority to require it on the county roads and where the Forest Service road comes with a county road. And if you want to put a driveway off of a steep hill up to your lot on a Forest Service road, I don't know. I mean, I understand it's not that we don't, well, it's not that we don't care necessarily, it's that we don't have the authority to dictate that. So that's where I'm at, is there's an awful lot of minerals claims and everything else out there off of fire trails and stuff that.
We're gonna be doing it all over if we don't.
Yeah, either we're gonna deny everything based on, really, I don't know that we have authority to deny it on. But of course, that's just my opinion, and there's 5 of us at the table, so.
So direction, you want direction.
Well, because I mean, a denial based on fire plan is one thing, yes, they can complete it, but a denial based on concerns of access points, I have nothing to go, I mean,
Well,
I don't know what to tell them, because we don't have anything in our ordinance that says.
We can't
you
enforce how many
on
access points they get off that Forest Service road.
Well, I'm okay with the fire
We can't
plan.
off the road, but can we do that on a plat? Can we say that you need to only have one access point for all of the lots?
I don't have an ordinance to state that, is the only thing. Like,
If
I
it
don't
was-
have it, you know what I mean, I don't have a rule that says you only are allowed so many access points. Because normally it would be, our highway department would determine those access points.
Right, to come off the county road, like internal subdivision roads, unless they're missing something that's required, then we'd be able to do some things, but I don't know, driveways are. Are the thing.
I would,
That sounds like it'd be more comfortable with it with one access.
well, not necessarily. I mean, if the Forest Service allows the multiple accesses, that's their business. It's their road. And it's kind of like I was grumbling about the city and the county.
Yeah.
Taking authority away from John Bay by putting that 1-foot strip in.
Well, and the other thing, if you had one single access, you'd have to put a hell long cul-de-sac, and if there was a fire or something, you got that to deal with. Those are fair-sized lots. They're not huge, but they're not little.
I had stepped out and was talking to sheriff, so I'm kind of trying to pick up on this question about number of accesses.
well, there was a roll call vote to deny the plat, I think, basically, right? But
No, it was to approve it.
Yes, it
They
was.
made the
to-
motion to
It
approve,
was.
and so,
motion
yeah,
to approve, but.
so it failed.
Failed.
So it's sitting here
because-
doing nothing.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
motion failed to approve the plat, so my question was, because I don't know how to go back to these guys with that, because the fire plan is one thing, I can deal with that. The access points off of a forest purpose road, we don't have the authority to give, driveway permits, but that's their reason for denial, is too many driveways.
And did I read that the Forest Service commented on that and basically said that they don't really,
They don't care as long as, they will check, when they put in like a driveway, they're gonna make sure the drainage and everything doesn't affect the road, but they don't give it access to
and I can't remember what road is this?
it. The mountain road.
This isn't a road the county has any jurisdiction over or maintains anyway.
Yep.
So,
So if someone wants to entertain another motion, just due to the fact that it is a Forest Service road, that does complicate things. And I maybe shouldn't have voted against it. But I
and
can't
just,
make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, just to restate it, I don't think the county has any jurisdiction over this.
No.
And the plat doesn't say anything about access anywhere, so we can prove the plat just as is.
Right.
They can deal with their own access.
Could you, like you did in the original?
Yeah.
Eric, like you did in the original preliminary plat, you had approved it with the statement, basically, that you had some concern about multiple access points, so to kind of take that into account when you get ready to do a building permit or whatever, I mean, that's kind of what you would sort
Yeah,
of
that's what we did,
allude
and
to.
we had a suggestion on the preliminary. They look at that too, and nothing happened. So I think actually, Mr. Chairman, I think what we need to do is reconsider this motion. So I move to reconsider the motion. That would fix your problem.
Reconsider the same motion?
Yeah.
Second.
Only the prevailing party can make that motion, right, and second it. You can't, because we were not the prevailing party. True.
But Eric could, 'cause he
Eric
did.
can,
Right.
and these guys can second it, because they were the
Okay.
prevailing party.
Right.
Richard and
Can
I
make the
cannot.
motion,
Rick.
I can second it.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't make the motion, but, all right. We have a reconsideration motion, after conversation. Any further discussion?
And motion is to approve.
Motions to approve. Okay, did you have a discussion?
Well, I just voted against it because of the fire plan. I think they ought to have the fire plan done before they go do the rest of them at rigmarole.
Yeah, but they can't file the plat until they do have it completed.
Well, I know, but
Okay,
they can,
all those in favor of the motion before us will say aye.
You know, roll call or?
No.
Okay, aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. It passed 3-2. All right,
Okay.
let's get off dead center.
75 is full.
I didn't know that. Okay, when did that,
Last week.
she didn't tell me that, okay.
80, 81, and 82 were left.
Okay, 76.
I think so.
Amber.
6. So this one, oh yeah, this is, put these over here. This one, if you remember, you guys had a variance request on this property and you denied the variance request. And it was for an addition to the house. And you had told him at that time it'd be better off if you redid some plating and whatnot. So he is going through that process. So it actually cleans up a lot of mess. These were some old Kirk City town lots. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 was in there, plus this original lot 1. And there was some vacated street right-of-way stuff that they had gone through, I don't know, a few years ago. And those have all been done. And then there is this little corner right here, which is what they had to purchase from the neighbor in order to get that addition to fit in there correctly. So they ended up doing all of that first and then coming in with a new plat, kind of getting it all cleaned up. It makes more sense.
I was very confused because they had the blocks, the text blocks were still on it. It looked like a bunch of structures that were right on the line.
Yeah, yep. So with that, there was a little bit of confusion and clarification from planning and zoning to now. Is I thought it was the shed that didn't have, or the garage that didn't have the building permit. It wasn't, it was one of the sheds. There's one shed that's over 200 square feet. So the request we would propose that if this does get approved, change the condition a little bit that planning and zoning had done. So planning and zoning had said that to approve the preliminary and final as exempt with the condition that a building permit is issued for the existing garage that was built without a permit within 30 days. We would like to change that to say the proposed condition, instead of 30 days for the shed building permit to be paid for, staff proposes the cost of the shed building permit be included because they have a pending building permit already, so we'll just make it one. Does that make sense? So we're just gonna combine it all into one versus
That was my
creating a
motion,
second one.
to follow
I have it
recommendation
highlighted
and
for you.
of planning and zoning and of staff.
I think we need to make it exempt also.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we'll do that first. Make it exempt.
Okay, motion and second to
Consolidation.
exempt. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. No, you're new.
Then I'll make the motion to follow planning and zoning recommendation and staff recommendation. The appropriate language therein.
Okay, motion and second for approval.
Preliminary and final.
Preliminary and final. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Alright. Next one is. So this one is your preliminary plat in the Maitland Partners subdivision, Paradise Acres 4. And this is the utility lot on the top here, which is where the water tank foundation is sitting. They made sure that it met the setbacks, so that's good. So it's all in there. And then really other than that, this matches what I can see as access. You've got your cul-de-sac and then your access points. I know there was some question because 123 can get access off of the loop down below.
Yeah.
And then they left a flagship to get access off of that one. Just terrain wise, there's gonna be some better points depending on where they put the house, so they allow access on both sides.
Okay.
It's kind of a weird
Further discussion or
piece.
action?
I move to approve the, what are we doing, final preliminary plan?
Preliminary.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the preliminary. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And these road profiles were in your original stuff, just if that's what they were in the other stuff that we looked at already. 78. Okay, and this is just the final plat of that utility lot. So the preliminary that you just approved, this is the final for the utility lot.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval.
We'll do exempt also, I believe.
Yes, please.
Okay, we'll do the exemption first.
Motion to make it exempt.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for exempt. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now we're back to the original motion for approval on the final. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Apple Springs.
Those are updated, I think.
Okay, right.
So 80, 81, and 82, they're on, so 79 is next.
This one is just lot 1A and 5A. They are combining two lots in Apple Springs, so 1 and 2 are being combined into 1A. Yep. So it's just making the lot size a little bit bigger.
This shouldn't need exempt because they've got hydrants.
Nope,
in it.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, we'll go clear down to,
82 should be the next one.
You say 82 is also.
yeah, it's out.
83.
83 is
83 is the last one ever. Not on this page.
Oh, that's right, that's the weird one with the, okay. We're still dealing with that road access issue. All right, and this one is just a lot line change. So originally we did W1 and W2, and it was for that utility because that's where the lead sanitary district tank sits. And they ended up having to make it a little bit bigger. So it just, really the only change is that little bit of lot line right in here. It's really hard to see. They wanted to make this, so the tank met requirements, because it didn't meet setback, I believe, so they ended up curving this line over here where that utility easement was.
Okay, fire plan, everything's already in place, right?
For next.
Yes.
Okay, motion to approve the preliminary and the final.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the preliminary and the final. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And you get, I forgot to say, you had approved a preliminary, but they never recorded the final, because this came up
That
afterwards.
completes
So they
those,
started
correct?
all over. I believe so. I think that's
Right.
everything, yep.
Paul, you're up next for the revised local emergency operations plan.
I will send you these.
You have the floor, sir.
Thank you.
It's this big, if you want to. Wow. I think, Bruce, did you not send them a digital copy?
I did, I believe, in that there's no copy available to the public
Right.
because it's exempt.
It's
emergency planning plan.
state law that exempts it from the public, but it is updated every 5 years. This is a totally new plan. The state sent out a template. I went through it. It took most of the summer, line by line, changed what fits Lawrence County. And once it's approved, excuse me, I will take a copy to each city with the directions that they use it for their city and our county, and follow the plan as best as they can. But there's some differences from the state plan that fit the county better than what fit the state. So I need 2 copies, one for, there'll be a printed copy on file with Brenda, and then I'll need a copy to include with this plan when I take it to the cities. And that's as far as it goes.
Looks like the request would be to have all 5 commissioners each sign twice.
And just to make this clear, this is not anything nefarious or scary or anything. It just has, there's some information that it'd be nice that certain bad elements not know what our procedure would be in case of hazardous material spill or any number of. The way we operate. Yeah. When there's an emergency is what it deals with, and it's nothing scary, nuclear or anything like that, but it does lay out so that other agencies in our county, we kind of on the same page when something happens like that. Just the way it's worded and the way it's exempt from public view, it seems like it's, ooh, what are they doing? It's like it's great bedtime reading if you want to fall asleep real fast.
Yeah. Follow up on Commissioner Flanagan's statements, SDCL 1-27-1.5, subsection 8B exempts from public disclosure, emergency management or responses. And so that's what we're dealing with here. Yeah, so that, it says everybody's on the same page. And, a lot of it I've suggested to the commissioners in the past, and I'll still do it, if you're going to be part of leading the emergency management operations, that you should probably go online and take ICS 100, 200, NIMS 7 and 800, and that's available online. And some counties, and I've actually considered it, if you open your emergency operations center for an event like Grizzly Gulch, some people are kept from coming into that room if they have not had the training, because it just muddles the water when you're trying to go.
Didn't I take some of those years ago?
Yeah. You only have to take them once. I mean, it kind of opens the eyes of how things operate and divvy up the responsibilities and who orders what, and the financial, the operations, the incident command, all of that. So I'd still suggest that for anybody that hasn't taken it.
Looking for a motion to authorize all the commissioners to sign.
So moved. Second.
Okay, the motion is second for approval to have all commissioners sign the certificate of adoption. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
So am I gonna stop getting emails now?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Now, the next one we have coming forth is the one that Black Hills Council of Local Governments is doing.
Yeah.
Pre-disaster mitigation. And that one is open to the public.
All right.
I don't even get my name on there.
It's on there somewhere.
Oh, there it is. Richard is in a weird place.
Yeah.
Deciding where your name is, Brian. All right, our next item on our agenda will be for public safety building cleaning cost quote.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You have the floor.
I was asked to,
Red shoes, right?
Here on the blank.
I'll come back.
I was asked to get an estimate on
Find yourself.
cleaning the ductwork and cleaning and sanitizing the old jail or the old sheriff's office. I got one estimate back. The cleaning of the ductwork, I don't think you guys got this, but the cleaning of the ductwork is $24,548. And I got copies of that too. That's to do all the ductwork in the entire building, air handlers, which that I do recommend. Then the cleaning and sanitizing of mainly the main floor is the area of concern where we've had sewer issues in the past. Came up to $9,277 for doing just the main floor.
And this is something we would do once everyone's moved out
Yep.
prior to someone coming in.
Yep.
to occupy it.
That's the idea. I told them that, preferably we could do it when the building's empty.
Right.
And get it all
What's the
done.
total for those two?
$33,825. And then we do have the option, I had him put in here, if we wanted to do the old jail part, which I don't really recommend. It's all concrete and our folks can go up there and sanitize with hospital grade sanitizer as needed. So, but that would be an additional about $12,000 to do that. So that'd bring it up to $45,000, $45,932. So
I agree with you. I think the jail top floor is unnecessary.
As long as you think staff can get it done. Of course, there's not a huge urgency in how quickly it would need to be done,
Right.
but
yeah, I think we could
probably
go
do
up
it in
there.
stages.
Yep. Yeah,
Once we cap off the plumbing and everything going up there, that's gonna be a huge help right there.
That's just the plan too, Mr. Chairman, I believe,
Yeah.
is to probably keep the drains kind of operational though.
keep the floor drains open and cap the water and as needed, we'll probably leave some water up there and then pull all the toilets and cap the drains and get all that.
Time is not of the essence.
No, it's not a big rush. So especially with the delay of our new facility. So we have time.
Do we want to sign contracts now? I suppose the thing is this may not actually happen, the cleaning until after the first of the year.
Right.
It sounds like so.
So it could go up a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, so I think the money would have to be spent this year, right? And
So we better just put it on hold for now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. You bet.
All right, we're down to items from the public. If you would like to address the board this morning, we cannot take any type of action on your comments, but we're here to listen. So if there's anyone in the body of the audience or online that would like to speak on behalf of themselves with any issues or topics, this will be the time. Please stand and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, everybody. My name is John Dale, and I live at 239 West Jackson in Spearfish, South Dakota. Recently, I reached out to Commissioner Alka. Who's Commissioner Alka?
I'm humble Deputy State's Attorney out there.
Excuse me, sorry. And got direction about how I can possibly join the Butte Lawrence County Fair Board. Excuse me, I've only had one cup of coffee this morning. So I drafted that letter and I'm here to deliver it in person to the commission for consideration to be on the Butte Lawrence County Fair Board.
Okay, we make those appointments in January at our first meeting, so if you want to leave your letter, we'll certainly
I guess I keep track of it.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Thank
you. Can I give it to you?
Yes.
Anyone else?
Very nice to meet you.
Anyone else want to address?
Thank you. Great day, everyone.
Comment. You, sir?
I'm Mark Rizzi. Have property up at 11457 Brownsville Road. I was here a couple months ago about H&S sand and gravel pit. And I was just wanting to know where we're at with that. I sent some pictures to Jeff yesterday of the dust coming off the conveyors and the like coming onto our property again. And according to his conditional use permit, he's supposed to take care of that, and none of that has been happening. And I was wanting to know where we were at with that, where you guys were at with that.
Okay, Bruce?
Mr. Chairman, we had hoped to be able to come to you today at this meeting and give you an update, but we weren't unable to. We're still doing our due diligence to include talking to the state of South Dakota. And I talked to the DANR yesterday. They had been out on the site last week. It was the fourth time that they've been out on site. So I'll give you a bit of a preview of coming attractions. My understanding is that with the DANR's perspective, they are in complete compliance. There may have been a crusher issue before, but that is compliant. I think also compliant with any issues regarding fugitive dust, and that would involve the transfer of the product from one conveyor to the other. They would not necessarily govern any issues regarding the road or anything like that. And I think we're currently out there doing road work as well. And I think we had been in that pit, in the last several weeks too, doing our own crushing out there as well. So John Bay, he and some of his foremen have been out there kind of monitoring the situation as well. So looking forward, we do hopefully plan on coming back on October 22nd. But again, I hadn't heard back from DANR until yesterday. And so I think that also John Bay had recommended that the one stockpile get moved out of the right of way. I think that's been done. I think to John's satisfaction. Also talked about designating specific entry point and exit point. And I think that has been done. It's been demarcated with rocks, I think at least for now, so that the trucks aren't just coming out onto the road in any fashion. I still have not had any other complaints that I'm aware of regarding dust or any other safety issues or anything apart from Mr. Rizzi's since the inception of the rock quarry, which I think goes back to about 1991, more or less. So in 30 years, these are the only complaints that we've had. So, but we are looking at them diligently. I've been out there at least 3 or 4 times. Jeff's been out there taking pictures. Again, the highway department's been out there as well.
Okay. In response to that property that we own has not been occupied in over 100 years until we owned it. So of course, there's not going to be any complaints with the dust going over to our property. When I spoke with the DNR, they said they are only responsible and they can only comment on the crusher itself. They cannot comment on anything else, the fugitive dust. They can't comment on the stockpiles. They can't comment on the conveyors. And I don't have a problem with what they've done with the crusher. When I went over and talked to Halls, and I talked to them multiple times, I asked them to please do something about the dust. They told me multiple times there was absolutely nothing they could do. Nothing in the dust. And I have pictures of all of it. When the DNR said you will do something by this deadline or we'll fine you $10,000 a day, lo and behold, they can put water on their crusher. The crusher's fine now. It meets the requirements. It's the rest of the dust that is still coming over onto our property. Their conditional use permit, they haven't met the requirements on that. And I'm wanting to know, I talked to another producer in the county, well, I should say in the Black Hills, and he said, we aren't allowed to do anything until every single condition on our conditional use permit is taken care of. We don't crush a single rock. And I told him what was going on, and he said, I can't understand why they would treat us different than they treat somebody else, or they would treat somebody else different than they treat us. And I can't answer that. That's an answer I cannot give him. But he was concerned about that. And so my question is, are these conditions going to be met? And if they are, by when? Those are my concerns, and those are my questions. I would like to know.
I think, Mr. Chairman, too, if it's not done already, I think crushing from the big state project was set to be done, if not by now, very soon. So all the crushing may be done for the season. And what else I was going to say? I think also that the Halls were they're talking to John Bay about some additional signage that he had recommended. I think maybe John might have been helping them to order the signs. I'm not sure about that. I think also John reported that through the state's contract, their contractor, I think, was required to take care of any dust issues regarding the road. I haven't seen that agreement yet, but that's my understanding. So I think one of Mr. Rizzi's concerns was that a lot of the dust was coming from the road. And if that's the case, I think it might be too late to address that this year, but that might be something that can be addressed next year, because I think the project continues into next year.
Some of that dust does come off the road, but when they're crushing, and I sent pictures to Jeff and he forwarded them on to Bruce, you can see the dust coming off the conveyor and you can see it bubbling up into the air. You can see it coming off the piles. And when the wind is blowing our direction, that dust comes right over to us. And in his conditional use permit, it says he's required to take care of that. And that's why we've been dealing with this all summer. We've been dealing with it for a few years. And I've gone to the halls multiple times and asked them, multiple times. And then when I got a copy of their conditional use permit and realized they hadn't applied, until I complained, there isn't not a single item on their conditional use permits that they have adhered to, not one. And I'm going, okay, now there's a complaint and it's been 2 months and all I can see is the county put up some signs for them and they put a few rocks out, which are about as effective as a submarine with screen doors. It's not effective at all. But that's up to you guys to determine whether or not it'll work. I'm just saying, these are the things that we've been putting up with, and now they're still crushing, the dust is still coming, and it's been 2 months.
Mr. Chairman, not to be an argument with Mr. Rizzi, but just my own personal observations, when I've been out there, the dust has been minimal. I mean, there's going to be some dust. The dust on the road was probably more than any dust that I personally have observed on those occasions when I've been out there. The pictures that I've seen that Mr. Rizzi's provided and others, the dust in those pictures is not blowing to the south, which I think would be to Mr. Rizzi's property, but is blowing to the east or another direction. So I haven't been able to see for myself when I've been out there any dust that I would consider to be problematic. Of course, that's up to you guys to decide. It's up to Mr. Rizzi to decide what bothers him. But we don't have a lot of evidence to present to show you that dust arises to a level of anything other than sort of ordinary that would be reasonably associated with a gravel operation. Okay.
And to your point, Bruce, the wind doesn't always blow in the same direction. But when it does come to and when it happens, we can taste it, we can smell it, it's gritty in our teeth, and I go over and I take pictures.
When did you purchase the property?
2013.
So the pit was there when you purchased it?
The pit was there, but when the pit was there, they had a small portable crusher, and we never heard it. We didn't have dust problems. We never saw it, nothing. Now they're bringing in these great big commercial crushing outfits, and that's when the problem has arisen. It's not, and like I told the halls, it's not a personal thing against anybody, but we have the right to enjoy our property without our lives being compromised by somebody else's business. We have that right.
Well,
Mr. Chairman, stay tuned.
What direction does the wind blow when it blows the dust to your property?
The wind, it would be to the southwest, I guess, south. And in the hills, I don't know how long you guys been here, but in the hills, the wind swirls. It has a tendency to blow one way and then the other and then the next, and it's I don't want the halls. I mean, they can crush as much gravel as they want. I don't care. They can crush it till the cows come home for all I care. But just keep your dirt and your dust to yourself. I don't want it.
Okay. Well, all right. Thank you for.
Yes, I appreciate your guys' time and will there be an update?
Hopefully on the 22nd. Jeff is putting it together.
Yeah, John's working on it, so.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, and you guys have a great day.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Anything further from anyone? Anyone in the public? Not seeing anything, is there anything that the commissioners need to bring forth?
Well, I might comment on this gentleman here. There's a lot of people have conditional use permits. Somebody ought to be responsible to go out and take it. I thought it was Jeff or Amber.
Well,
Look
Jeff
at it
has
and
been out there.
write it down.
Yeah, if I may, Mr. Chairman, so, Richard, this CUP was originally granted, it even predates me, I think it's in 1991.
Oh.
And so, Jeff hasn't been around that long, so, there are some things that were never done. I don't know that I think it says that there should have been a fence. As I recall, I'd have to look at it again, there isn't a fence, at least now. But I don't know that there's ever been any complaints or any problems either. And so, I mean, I assume that that's what has gone on here is, absent any complaints or any problems from anybody, they were allowed to operate as is. And
Well,
now
that
it's
should be
more
the way it is.
modern times where they have a neighbor now who's, yeah, and I think you'll be asked if you want to reconsider those conditions. Maybe you want to eliminate some of them, the ones that haven't been complied with, or maybe they're not necessary, or maybe you want to require something different.
Well, we'll wait till the 22nd and hear from John and possibly Jeff.
Who's John? Faye?
Yeah. Okay, anything further? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Okay, we are adjourned.